Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kickback presents the All Memphis Post Game Show, where we break down and analyze every Memphis Grizzlies game. Right after it happens, you don't have to wait for our take. With me, as always, per usual, in a different locale this time. No, we got the homie Mace. Mace, what's going on, man?
You're probably wondering how I ended up in this position. So coming to you live from the closet because I don't have any furniture, and this is the only place to sit with the light and where I can be seen. So, different location for a couple of days, but we'll be resolved soon enough. I'm good, man. I'm ready to move to Memphis. It's happening this weekend, so I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all good, man. Like I said, like we said before, I think the city's ready to have you back. You know what I'm saying? Get the boys back together, the bands back together all over again. And so let's the people have been waiting. They've missed us for some time. I tried to get a co-host for the last couple games, but everybody was, man, I couldn't even watch the game tonight, or whatever. And I just didn't feel like doing it by myself, so it didn't do the past couple shows. But Grizzlies won some, lost some, whatever.
I think they won all the games we didn't do a show for.
Yeah.
I mean, because we're 7-3 in the last 10, and we might have missed the Jazz game. We're 7-3 in the last 10 games, and the only 3 losses are to the best team in the NBA.
Right. We definitely lost to the Jazz on that Wednesday. But tonight the Grizzlies go down to Miami and play the Heat and beat them 124-112. Good game. Grizzlies came out. The time we played them like 2 weeks ago, and the final score was like 86-89. and then now we come back and boom, we score a lot of points. So what was your takeaway from this game?
Well, we ended another Heat winning streak. I think the last time we beat them, they were on a 5-game streak, and tonight they came in on a 4-game heater. JV was great early, just dominant. Him and Bam were really going at it. It was fun to watch. It just overall, this team, I've been reading the newspapers and stuff as I've been traveling, keeping up with the ongoings, and we're just letting it fly from downtown. And right now, those shots are going in. That's been Taylor Jenkins' idea for the offense ever since he took over this team last year, whether it was, Jay Crowder and solo jacking shots to this year, now trying to get us to shoot around 43s a game, somewhere in that realm seems to be his sweet spot. And we're not taking floaters anymore. We went from the most team in the NBA to tonight. I can't remember more than 1 or 2 shots in that area. So he's definitely getting his imprint on the offense, and it looks really good when shots are going in.
Yeah, it does look good when shots are going in. Like you said, man, like JV dominated that first quarter. I think he had like 15 points in the first quarter.
Yep.
Like 15 points, maybe 3 or 4 rebounds. He was just going at it, and like the Heat, Bam is sort of an inside presence, but he's just not as big as Jonas is. So Jonas kind of took advantage of it. That's something that we want to see a lot from him when we play these teams that don't have a somewhat of an inside presence. So it was good to see that. Ja got off to a slow start, didn't do much in the first quarter. I don't even think he did much in the first half, if I look at the numbers right. But he came along late. Dillon was the same way. The other person who started the game off on a run, Kyle Anderson, my boy Kyle Anderson, finished. I think maybe he finished the first quarter with 9 points and 4 rebounds, 9 points and 5 rebounds in the first quarter, something along those lines. So he was Kyle and Jonas were our offense to start the game, and then the bench comes in and they do that. Desmond Bain shooting threes and hit threes. It was good to see, man. This team is kind of hitting a stride right now. I think they said this is the first time to show you how evenly they've been playing, whatever. I don't know if evenly is the right word, but this is the first time since February 6th that we've been 2 games over 500. And so they just showed you kind of like the team, and sometimes they play well, they don't play well, they don't, but they are consistent in being able to come out and play well. They might not win the games, but they haven't had too many bad games. So it was good to see them continue with that. It's a very tough road trip. Play Philadelphia then on Sunday, play Miami now, play Atlanta tomorrow, and then who we finish up with?
I can't even remember who it is.
It's another. It might be Indiana.
Hopefully, because they've been playing pretty bad lately.
The Knicks. We end up in New York with the Knicks.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, I mean, but all winnable games, I thought the bench unit came in late in the first quarter and really just put their imprints on the game. Like, their defense they were all over the place. They were getting hands on everything. Xavier Tillman, Desmond Bain was getting in on the action. And then it's a different bench unit because we had so many players out. Melton was out, Winslow was out, and Brandon Clark was out. So we saw a lot of John Conchar, Killian Tilly, and more Xavier Tillman than we've been used to lately. And those guys were great tonight. I mean, honestly, you couldn't ask for a better performance from the end of your bench. And Jitty hit that 3 close out the first quarter in Tyler Hero's face, which was great. Gave us a 3-point lead. We were getting to the line. We had eight free throws in the first quarter. And then my other big takeaway was I just don't like what this Heat team did in the offseason at the trade deadline. I don't really like the Oladipo fit. Trevor Ariza is, basically just a name nowadays. Ja blew right by him in the fourth quarter. I mean, it was kind of sad to see. And with Bam at center and like Jimmy and Oladipo, they don't have the spacing that they did last year. And they got Iggy, who was a minus 18 in 18 minutes. He was just terrible. No, he's a minus 19 in 19 minutes, and we just picked on him in the fourth quarter because he was trying to guard our post players. So I'm not a fan of what he'd have done.
I think they kind of I forget what the phrase is. I was going to say a phrase, but it was wrong. They cut their nose off to spite their face or something like that, because like they had some quality young guys. Kendrick Nunn, obviously Tyler Hero. You had Precious as another big who you spent the first round pick on him, so you at least want to see what he can do. And then you bring in all these old dudes and you take minutes away from these guys. Like Kendrick Nunn doesn't get any minutes. Like you said with the spacing, Duncan Robinson, who I think they said during the game, has hit at least 4 threes in the last 7 games and then hit 4 threes in 27 games total. Even his minutes are starting to decrease a little bit. He's a specialist, but can only do so much. And Dragic is hurt. Oladipo isn't helping you play, backup point guard or anything. And Oladipo hasn't been himself the last 2 years. Like you said, Ariza's old. Andre Iguodala's old. Like, yeah, they might help you a game or two come playoff time, but no. Like Jimmy Butler looked completely uninterested the first half of this game. He didn't like he wanted to be there. Didn't do much for stat lines for his team. And it was. I'm with you on that. I thought it would be on paper. You thought it would be better than what we saw right now, and maybe in a week. I mean, but the season's over in like 4 weeks. Like, the season's over in a month and a half. A month,
probably 2 months. I think we'll be in late May.
Okay, so like you ain't got that much time to get this right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and. But yeah, anyway, enough about old guys. Our young guys, Bane in the second quarter, man, he was doing it all. He was just all over the place. There was one possession where he got a steal, he poked away, saved it, got the ball back, went down and had a nice dime. just showing a lot more tools to his game than being just a shooter that he was kind of pegged as coming out. So I got a question for you, Jamal.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta start, bench, and cut between these three: Desmond Bane and the two basically wonder boys of last year's playoffs, Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson. Who you starting? Who you benching? And who you cutting?
Oh, wow.
That's tough, right?
Whoa. Oh,
For
wow.
the next 5 years.
For the next 5 years. Huh. I'm going to start Tyler Hero. I'm going to bench Desmond Bane, and I'm going to cut Duncan Robinson because I think I can find another Duncan Robinson who might can do something else. Because like I said, right now, Duncan Robinson is nothing but a specialist. He nothing but shoot. All he does is shoot threes. Granted, he's really good at shooting threes, and you can't let him get an open look because it's going up and it's going in. But with those other two players for my team, I would have them because they could do more. Like Tyler Hero's a decent defender, could be a better defender as he gets older. And Desmond Bane has the body to be a good defender, can shoot, can take you off the dribble, can do all that stuff. So that's what I would do. What about you?
Yeah, I've gotten the same answer from everyone I've sent that out to. So I think that's pretty common. And it's not just, I mean, we think probably all of these guys should have pretty good long-term NBA careers as some type of rotational players. I mean, I could see Bane making the leap ahead of Tyler, just maybe on like a championship team. Like he might be a better fit on a championship team, but Tyler might have better numbers throughout his career and more all-stars, But of course, that's two completely different things. So it was just something I thought about during the game, but I think everyone's had that same answer. First half ended 63-57. We keep jumping around. I keep taking us away from the game and back to it. Anything else you wanted to hit on the first half? I mean, Kyle Anderson got going. He had 17. Really just not hesitating, starting to shoot the three more. He started the season off shooting it a lot, and then it was kind of like he just stopped for the last 25 games or so.
I think the one thing in this, I don't know if it's a trend or whatever, but it's almost kind of like we said, Kyle's reverting back to how he did in the first part of the season. I think Ja's doing the same in terms of some of these slow starts. This may be the second or third game he's had a real slow start. Scoring the ball, at least. I mean, everything else is, he does well assisting and rebounding when he can, but he had another slow start scoring the ball.
He stunk tonight. I mean, he came out as a +1 in the plus minus, but he had, I think, 10 points, 4 assists, and 7 turnovers.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Which that's going to happen when you're the main ball handler against one of the best defenses in the league. But he was not who we've come to expect him to be.
Yeah, and I mean, like, obviously because I keep up with these things, like he hadn't been since that big scoring outbreak against Utah, and maybe one more game. Like he hasn't been scoring the ball as much. You're not really getting between his 16 and 18 points. His assists, he's been passing the ball and getting assists, but he hasn't really been scoring and being that aggressive to score. He hit the ground a couple of times tonight. He tried to dunk on Duncan. He tried to dunk on Tyler Hero in the first half, and it was pretty nasty if he went down. But he hit the ground pretty hard. So maybe it might be something. He ended the game with some back tightness, and I think we mentioned it. At some point, you're going to have to rest Ja during these 40 games in 60 days, and I would hate for it to be the matchup against Trae Young tomorrow, but now seems like a good enough time to rest him, or you let him play now and rest him against the Knicks. So yeah, but anyway, that's my one thing I would keep an eye out for the next few games with Ja, the slow scoring starts. And then into the second half, man, the third quarter became the Dillon Brooks show. The third quarter became the Dillon Brooks show. It starts with him rolling his ankle, and then next thing you know, he just scored and scored and scored and scored and scored and scored.
Did you hear his quote in the post game about his ankles?
Ankle.
Tough ankles. I got tough ankles. And he did. I mean, he scored 23 points in the third quarter, 23 of the Grizzlies' 33 points. And it started out with those 3 free throws, like you mentioned, off the flagrant. And then I think he hit 3 threes. And then the next thing you know, he's just going to the rack every time, like blowing by whoever's in his way and doing a crazy layup.
Like Dillon, irrational confidence, Brooks, man. Like never met a shot he didn't like. But it was good when he's on. And it's like we've said before, when Dillon is playing that way, this team becomes a very dangerous team. And even when he was controlled in the third quarter, but even when he's not as controlled and he still gets into his old ways again and takes a bad shot every now and then, you don't mind seeing that because this lets you know that Dillon is still Dillon. Like Dillon is doing what he's supposed to do. So it's not even one of those things.
And it could lead to this, right? It could lead to this if it goes in. I mean, so that was the second highest scoring quarter in Grizzlies franchise history, behind Jaren's 26 in a quarter last year against Milwaukee, which is also the third quarter. So if you're trying to break that record, it seems like the third quarter is the time to do it. Jimmy he started hooping in the third quarter. He had 11. Him and Dillon both ended with 28. And the biggest play to me of all that with Dillon was the last second. He could have easily taken a heat check shot, pulled up from the logo, but he drew the defenders and kicked it to Tyus wide open in the corner, and Tyus knocked down another 3.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Pete and Brevin them talked about that on the post game as a sign of maturity from Dillon, because last year Dillon takes that shot 10 times out of 10, no questions asked. But this year, with a lot more on the line, maybe a little more trust in his teammates, makes the smart play, makes the right basketball play, gets the ball to Tyus. Tyus makes a 3, and we go into the fourth quarter with a bigger lead. So it was good, and it also seemed like in the third quarter that we were playing well on offense, but we couldn't really pull away. Like you were saying, like Jimmy was playing well, and they kind of got them going a bit. And every time we would do something good, they would come back and answer. But when we got into the fourth, we started pulling away from them.
Yeah, we had 4 turnovers in that third quarter. Dragic hit a couple shots. We only outscored them by 1, but I mean, you'll take it when you're already leading at half. So went into the fourth quarter up 7, kind of pushed it to 11. And I mean, we just broke it open pretty much. Tilly and Xavier Tillman were posting up Iggy, as I mentioned earlier, just getting buckets on them. I guess the job play right by Trevor Ariza. I don't have a lot of notes from the fourth quarter because we just kind of broke it wide open.
The one thing that stood out for me from the fourth quarter was, well, maybe it's the whole game because you've mentioned his name a couple of times. But Xavier Tillman played really well. Yeah. It's good to see that he is ready when his name is being called, because when Jaren comes back at the end of this month, we don't know how much we'll see of him. But the fact that we know that he can be ready when his number's called and he can come in and do what he did. He had a man's rebound and put back in the fourth quarter. Like he got the rebound around 3 heat. I don't even know if he put it down. I don't know if he did a power dribble to get back up or not, but he got the rebound and he laid that thing up with his left hand. It's like, okay, all right, that's a man's move right there. Like, bro, get up out of here. Get up out of here. So it was good to see that. It was good to see that happen, man. Another good win. I think they said against East playoff teams. I don't even know I forget how they phrase it, but against the Heat, the Sixers, the Bucks, and the Nets. No, not the Bucks. Heat, Sixers, Nets, Hornets. We're 8-2 against them. And those are playoff teams in the East. Obviously, the Nets and the Sixers are 2 of the best teams in the East. The Heat are trying to be that, and we swept them. That's what it was. We swept them. We swept those teams. We swept the Heat. We swept the Nets. We swept Charlotte and we swept the Sixers. And that's what it was. And I think when
Yeah.
we lost 2 to the Bucks.
Yeah, and I mean we got some, fortunate breaks in the scheduling, but it is what it is. We've also played this whole season without our second best player. So of course it's not, Kevin Durant or Embiid or anything like that, but it takes nothing away from what this team has accomplished. Like they just go out and take care of business every night, and now we're starting to see them probably play their best basketball of the year. I guess that's right before All-Star break. You could make an argument for that too. But just knocked off 2 really good teams, the best defensive team in the league, and like Philly had been winning without Embiid, so that wasn't just some fake win or something like that. Like that team had been producing. They still got 2 All-Stars,
and they won tonight. I think. Yeah, they beat the brakes out the Celtics tonight.
And who was Miami missing? Like I don't think they were missing anyone tonight.
They were at full strength tonight. They were at full strength tonight.
You really can't say enough about how this team has performed this season, especially in games they're supposed to win. The one that sticks out is the OKC, where SGA just got ridiculous in the fourth quarter and they kind of ran out with us. But other than that, we basically have won all the games we've been favorites in, I'd say. And to me, it's also just still hard to fathom how deep a team we have. Like we're at the end of the bench, and everyone has contributed meaningful minutes in some of these wins in some form or fashion. We make fun of, McDermott and Conchar and some of these guys, and they're not everyday players, but their ability to step in and fill these gaps with injuries, because I'm not sure what the numbers are, but we've got to be at least middle of the road in games missed to injury. Even if you take Jaren out, like I feel like we got to be right there in the middle to top 10 maybe, because it's not like we've been perfectly healthy all season.
Ja missed what, 6 games?
Yeah,
something like that, 6 or 7 games. So we went a time without having our 2 best players, and now we got Jaren's
Valanciunas had COVID for like 3 weeks.
Right, we didn't have Valanciunas or Grayson for a while. Even Melton has been kind of in and out. He'll miss a game here, miss a game there, miss a game here, miss a game there. So yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that. And this is another reason.
Kyle, Dillon, and Tyus have pretty much been the constants, but everyone else has missed games.
Kyle, man, steady, our steady racehorse there, man. My boy, 10-4 every game at least. What I'm about to say, and this is what worries me, and I don't know if it should worry me, but introducing Jaren to this team and kind of the way they're going right now, I don't know, man. The risk is high risk. High risk. Is it low risk or high risk? I would say it's pretty high risk, high reward to put him in this starting lineup right now. Whenever we decide to do it at the end of this month, because the team is just playing so well right now. The team is playing well. We're competing in every game. We're not getting blown out. So it's going to be interesting to see what we look like when Jaren comes back.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. And we've talked about this before. I'm of the camp of you play your best players when they're ready to play. So, and it does seem that it's going to be sooner rather than later that he's coming back. He's talked to media, got Ja tweeting the unicorn and the hourglass or whatever. So, could be probably not this week, but maybe. Who knows?
Who knows? We should do that. The next game tonight. Go through the schedule for this month and pick the game he comes back. First, we'll have a bet. The person closest to the game that he comes back wins a 6-pack of. Let's do this. The Skip and Shannon bet. A 6-pack of beer. 6-pack of local beer. Since you're moving back home, when you're moving back to Memphis, we'll do a 6-pack of your favorite beer. Let's just do that.
We can do that. I'm saying Wednesday against the Mavs next Wednesday. I'm going to call it.
Oh, next Wednesday, huh? Ooh.
ESPN game. Bring him back.
Bring him back.
Matchup.
You got it. It's going to be a home game for sure. That's for sure. Okay, I think I'm gonna put my thoughts together, and
That's
I'll
okay.
when we get to the post game show for tomorrow's game, I'll have my answer. Yeah. So anything else on this? I mean, it's been a good week for the Grizzlies. It's been a good week for the Grizzlies. Started this road trip. We're 2-0 in this 4-game road trip. Like I said, got the Hawks tomorrow, and got the Hawks on Wednesday, and got the Knicks on Friday. So 2 winnable games. Although the Hawks did go ballistic against the Pelicans tonight, they hit 11 for 11 threes in the third quarter. So maybe they shot them all out tonight and they won't have anything left tomorrow. But you get one of these next two, you finish this road trip 3-1, you're good. That's a good road trip. Still in. Let's check the standings.
We're in eighth. We're in eighth.
We're in eighth, all by ourselves.
Yeah. So I think we're 3.5 games back of Dallas, and we moved ahead of the Spurs and Warriors. They've kind of been stinking lately. So I'm solidly in eighth. I mean, 6 is the goal to get out of the play-in game. Unlikely, I say, but I mean, this team's playing really well and got some winnable games coming up. So
yeah, that's set. So wait, yep. We're 2.5 games back of Dallas, like you said. 4.5, 3.5 back, 4.5 back of Portland. Yeah, it's gonna be tough to get to 6, but hey, solidly in 8th. Once again, like we said, you would have told us it's the beginning of the season, I would have said you're crazy. But but here we are. So, all right, man. Who you got for your player of the game?
this one seems like an obvious answer, but I think we got a few choices. But I got to give it to my boy Dillon Brooks. I mean, second biggest quarter scoring wise in franchise history, and it's fun to watch. It's not every night you get to see someone just get hotter than a firecracker and score 23 in a quarter.
Yeah, Dillon is a good choice. Just to be different, I'll go with Kyle. Kyle was one of the steadying hands in that first quarter. Him and Jonas. So I'm gonna go with Kyle.
Needed it.
We needed every bucket that he had. Every bucket that he had, we needed. Kept us in the game, kept us going, and it helped us pull away, especially in the second quarter. So I'm going Kyle Anderson as my player of the game. Who is your bum of the game?
All right. As soon as this sequence happened, I knew who my bum of the game was. Wrote it down in red ink. So the Heat had the ball. Shot clock's winding down. Oladipo kind of loses it, goes out to half court. Then he tries to drive. Instead of pulling up for a deep three like most would do as the shot clock's winding down, he tries to drive between Bane and Tilly, runs into a brick wall in Bane, falls down, ball bounces to him. He tries to shoot it from the ground, and Bane just beats that shit. So just a tough sequence for Oladipo, and that automatically made him my bum of the game, on top of his just kind of horrendous play throughout the rest of the game.
A solid choice for bum of the game. I am going to break from my tradition. This will probably be the first ever on this show or any other show that I have hosted or talked about. I'm going to give the bum of a game to an Arizona Wildcat. I'm going to give the bum of the game to Andre Iguodala. Just because, brother, it ain't going the way you wanted it to go since you talk bad about the city of Memphis, my guy. And so my loyalty and allegiance to the city of Memphis weighs more than my loyalty and allegiance to the Arizona basketball family. Bear down. Shout out to our women's basketball team, national runner-ups. Never in a million years would I have thought I would see the Arizona women's basketball team playing a national championship game and have a chance to win it. So shout out to them and Adia Barnes. Ari or Ari? Ari McDonald. She said how you're supposed to say it. It's Ari McDonald. Shout out to them. But yeah, bum of the game, Andre Iguodala. It pains me to give it to a Wildcat, but I got to give it to him.
Hey, and those ladies just took the hearts of the nation. Basically, I feel like everyone was rooting for the Zona women's team, and everybody wanted that last shot to fall too. But congrats to your team. I know that's a big deal. So hopefully the Lady Tigers can make some type of run similar in the coming years under new leadership. Because I mean, y'all just showed that anything is possible. Went from the depths of the bottom of women's college basketball to playing in the national title game and having a chance to win it at the end.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. I tell people when it comes to that, then we'll get to the play. But like my freshman year, 2005, Arizona women's basketball had made the tournament maybe in 2003. They might even made it in 2004. And our star player, Shantanese Polk, her name was Pokey. We nicknamed her Pokey. Her nickname was Pokey. We called her Pokey. She passed away right before the season started. Had a blood clot in her leg that just it was a complications from something, and she passed away. And that kind of just put a cloud over their program for a long time. Man, they ended up losing that coach, and they brought in Nia Butts from Tennessee. She was a young black head coach and didn't do much. And now to see where their program is now, where Adia has it, Adia is an Arizona legend. To see where she has it now, it's pretty damn awesome. So I'm very happy for that. And I will say my play of the game, of this game, to bring it back, was a play that wasn't complete. It was actually two plays of the game. Ja trying to dunk on everybody. He tried to dunk on Tyler Hero, and it didn't go in. Then he tried to dunk on Bam, and they called a charge because he caught him with an elbow. So that was gonna be my play of the game. The almost dunk.
Yeah, not a lot of highlights. We're used to this team just giving us highlight after highlight. I could go with the bang block on when Oladipo was on the ground, but I'm gonna give Tyus some love. It was midway through the fourth quarter. I think he drove from the left side, basically through the middle of the lane, then went under the basket like he likes to do. And John Conchar cut from the right wing, and Tyus is like running out towards the corner, throws a pistol peek type backwards bounce pass perfectly to Jitty, and he lays it in for two. So beautiful pass from Tyus. I've been hard on him lately, but he's been pretty good recently.
I think I want to amend that, my play of the game, to an actual play, just because you mentioned his
What
name.
you got?
Conchar step back three to end the first quarter, because it was so unexpected. It was disrespectful. So yeah, that's my new play of the game. That's my new.
I don't even know how he stepped back more in the corner than he already was. But
bro, why weren't you out of bounds, my guy? but yeah, so that's my new play of the game. Thank you for mentioning his name and reminding me about that. Yeah.
Well, hey, did you win any money?
No, man. I win no money tonight, man. I thought I had it, and me in my own head, per usual, you know what I'm saying? Like I explained on one of the shows before. Kyle is good for 10-4, 7 out of 10 games, right? And this was one of the games where I thought he was going to give me 10-4. I knew he was going to give me 4, so I put him down for the 4 rebounds. But I said, you know what? Milton's not playing. Grayson's going to get more minutes. I said, Grayson will give me 10 points tonight. I'm like, between him and Bane, they're gonna split the minutes. He'll probably get 6 or 7 extra minutes. Grayson to give me 10. He did not. He finished with 8. Then I had Ja to score 15 points, which has burned me the last 3 or 4 games. So I probably need to not do that and just do the 10 points for Ja. And tonight was he didn't get 6 assists either. I think he finished with 4 or 5. But a dub is a dub. Like you said, he didn't play his best game today. So Ja's stats were what they were. And then I had Jimmy Butler getting 6 rebounds. Jimmy averages about 7.5 rebounds a game. And I think he ended with 4 tonight. He looked, like I said earlier, he just looked disinterested in the game until the third quarter, I guess, where he thought he could turn it on. And he did because he was putting up numbers. But we just kind of played better. So I got everything else right. Like I had Jonas getting over 10, Dillon getting over 15, Bam getting over 15, Kyle getting over 4 rebounds, Jonas getting over 10 rebounds, Bam getting over 8 rebounds, and Jimmy Butler getting over 15 points. But Grayson, I should have went with Kyle getting over my 10 points. This is one of the games I didn't think he would do it, and he did it. And,
Yeah, and they did not let Grayson get going in the first quarter. They basically, and that's something that the Grizzlies like to do. So I think that was a point of emphasis for the best defensive team in the league. But nonetheless, Grizzlies got a dub. We'll see who suits up tomorrow against the Hawks. Maybe Melton, maybe Justice. Doesn't seem like we'll get either of them. Josh said he's fine. Jenkins said they're gonna see how he feels in the morning. So who knows? But either way, I expect this team to give the Hawks a run for their money.
I would hate for us not to have another Ja and Trey matchup. Just two young fun guards. But hey, if Ja isn't right, there's no reason to put him out there. Save him for tonight.
It already kind of looks like he might be hitting a, sophomore wall. This is really his first full season because we had the big break last year before going to the bubble. So, and he's played a lot of games in a short amount of time, so you can't blame anyone. And I actually wouldn't mind them resting tomorrow. I think if the Hawks are a team you could beat with, your backline guys, just the way you've been playing.
And I think this is the point in the season where you might you look at resting him now, because I think like you rest him now. You're flying from Miami to Atlanta tonight. You get to play it like just chill out and let him play in New York, and then we'll just go from there. But Mace, man, let the people know where they could find you on the social medias.
Y'all can find me on Twitter at BarnBurnerSlim. Y'all can find Jamal Show. He'll tell you where.
You can find the show on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, all your DSPs, the streaming platform of your choice. You can find that's for the as Nathan would call it, the patio version. You can get the visual version on the YouTube. Just go to check just search Diamond in the Bluff Media on YouTube, and you can watch the video version of the show on Facebook. Search for us on the Kickback Pod and at Diamond in the Bluff Media as well. Just subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff on whatever your choice is. It doesn't matter. It'll get back to us. But with that being said, that is Mace. I am Jamal, and we are out.
Peace.